difference of two squares. Now they're telling us to solve 2x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. Now when you're first given a question like this, first thing you need to do is to identify what factoring method would this be. It is difference of two squares. Now, if you remember from the last video, from solving quadratic equations, the two steps that you essentially need to do is just factorize and then solve. That's all you need to do. So, how to solve when it comes to difference of two squares? So, you would firstly factorize as it is and then solve. So, 9x squared minus 16. So to kind of break this all up, is all equal to 0. We have to remember this equal to 0. So factorizing this, I'm going to put this into brackets minus 9x squared into a bracket, and squared would essentially give us 3x. 3x squared, squaring that, would give us 9x squared. So then we're going to label what's within the bracket as x. And now as we turn to 16, when we do 4 and we square that, we get 16. So the square root of 16 is 4 if you want to switch it up. Now I'm going to label what's within the bracket as y. And then our formula for the difference of two squares is simply x take y and x plus y. Now we solve. So 3x minus y, so minus 4, and then x, so 3x, plus y, which is 4. We have done the factorizing part. Now we need to solve. So we're going to break this into half, and I'm going to focus on the first bracket, then the second. And while also keeping in mind, this is all equal to 0. Every single one of these is equal to 0. So 3x minus 4, all equal to 0. I can solve for that now. So 3x equal to 4, so then x is equal to 4 over 3. And it is, once again, it is okay if it's in a fraction form. There's nothing wrong with that. Now 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. Now 3x is equal to minus 4. So then x is equal to minus 4 all over 3. Now, in the second question, they have been so kind to tell us that this is a difference of two squares. So there we go. That is one step already done. We already know what factorizing method we shall use. Would you think that it is a difference of two squares? Because many people forget the number 1 is a perfect number. Because 1 can simply just be 1 squared. Because 1 squared is 1. So many people tend to forget that. So now we're going to solve for this. So 4x squared, now putting that into the square root and all that, would be 2x, squaring that, minus just 1 and squaring that. Keeping in mind that all of this is equal to 0. Now I'm going to label x and y what's within the bracket, and using the formula x take y and x plus y, I can now properly factorize. So 2x minus y is 1, and then doing x, which is 2x, plus y, which is 1, and that's it factorized. Now I'm going to split it down in the half, and I'm going to solve. So remembering that all of this is equal to 0, I'm going to take 2x minus 1 is equal to 0, and then 2x is equal to 1, so therefore x is equal to 1 over 2. Now as I turn to 2x plus 1, just writing that down, is all equal to 0, so now I can solve. 2x is equal to minus 1, so therefore x is equal to minus 1 over 2. You would notice that when doing difference of two squares and solving for it, your two answers will be the same, but the only difference is the sign. Why is that? If we look at the factorized version of it, the only difference between these is the signs. So therefore, when solving, when you look at the two of the solved x's, the only difference is the signs. And same with here, the two factorized, the only two differences is the signs. So that's something to think about. And that is that. Thank you for watching.